Welcome to OZChris vs. Marvel Comics for week 2 of August with reviews on The Amazing Spider-Man 27, Powers of X number 2, Silver Surfer Black number 3, Swordmaster number 2, and Symbiote Spider-Man number 5. So, starting off with ASM, written by Nick Spencer, the art by Kev Walker, the coloring by Laura Martin, the cover by Ryan Otley and Nathan Fairbairn. So, Boomerang as pissed off a lot of ladies, and these ladies have formed the syndicate. He tries to kind of talk his way out of it, but he fails to realize that they all hate his guts, and they all try to capture him. Peter, I almost said Speedo. It's a combination of Spider-Man and Peter. Peter heads off, returns to Spider-Man to team up, much to his eye that he doesn't want Boomerang to say it, but they do. Spider-Man and Boomerang team up to fight off against the Syndicate, but Spider-Man accidentally gasses himself and he's knocked out, and Boomerang is captured. But as the other members of the Syndicate plan what to do with Boomerang, it's revealed Beetle is actually working for Kingpin. And she's going to sell Boomerang to him, since Boomerang also pissed off Kingpin back in like the very early stages of Spencer's run of ASM. So it kind of casts into doubt, was she serious about this whole syndicate? Like, yay, girl power, let's stick it to the man. Or was it that she only doing it so that she could get a group to help her capture Boomerang, so that she could give him to Kingpin? I don't know. Could be either one of those. We'll see. And we'll leave it there. Story, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Above average, close to good. Yeah, I was okay. I was okay with what I read. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. These first few pages where Spidey and Boomerang face the Syndicate are really, really good. I really like those pages. But overall, it's a good art and good coloring. The cover itself, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. Good art, good coloring. It perfectly captures what's going on in the interiors. You know, Spider-Man and Boomerang face off against the Syndicate. So on to Powers of X number 2, written by Jonathan Hickman, the art by R.B. Silver, the coloring by Marte Gracia, the cover by Silver and Gracia. So, starting off at year 1, Moira and Charles head to Island M in the Bermuda Triangle to talk with Magneto to convince him to help with their plans. He's shown all the different lives that Moira has experienced throughout her whole reincarnation, and he agrees to help Charles. And then cutting back to present day, year 10, that they're in Krakoa, they discover the plans that OZChris, the group comprised of like members of Sword, Shield, and all that, are creating the Mother Mold, a master mold that creates other master molds, that giant Sentinel satellite, and they're preparing to deal with that, believing that the creation of this Mother Mold would lead to the creation of Nimrod. And then speaking of Nimrod, back to year 100, it turns out that the mutants are all working under the leadership of Apocalypse, who requires information that Nimrod currently possesses. So Apocalypse and the remainder of the mutants there decide to launch a suicide mission in order to retrieve this information. And I'll leave it there. There's also stuff with there's so many years in this. Year 1000 with the librarian meeting the Phalanx, and we'll leave it there. Okay, so story, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Above average, close to good. It's still confusing, I will say, but it is starting to be a little bit clearer that this could be like maybe a different timeline, because Hickman is changing quite a few things. So it's giving the clues, but it's not outright telling you what it is. This is only the second issue in Powers of X, but overall it's the fourth issue in the story, so I would have expected there would be a bit more. But it's still clue baiting, hypothesize baiting you, whatever. But it's interesting, but I'd rather get at least initial answers so far. But it's interesting, but it is still confusing. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. Good art, good coloring. The cover, I'm going to give a 3.5 out of 5. The cover, the art and coloring is good. It's not a particularly interesting cover. It's just five characters just there. Would have expected a bit more, but art and coloring is good. Just not a particularly appealing cover. So on to Silver Surfer Black, number 3, written by Donny Cates and Tradd Moore. The art by Tradd Moore, the coloring by Dave Stewart, the cover by Moore and Philippe Sobrero. So after waking up from a nightmare, Silver Surfer requests the aid of Ego, the living planet, but something is wrong with Ego. Something has embedded itself within Ego, and it is causing him extreme pain. So Silver Surfer offers his services to help dig into Ego to his core to discover what is going on with him. And that essentially is the issue, just plain and simple. Story, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It was average. Didn't particularly progress the plot of Silver Surfer on the run from Null and Ego teaming up with him. Really didn't. It's kind of sidetracks the story a bit. The art and the coloring, I'm gonna give it a 3.5, above average, close to good. Although I really like this double page spread here. It is I did particularly like this page. The cover, I'm also going to give it a 3.5 out of 5, above average, close to good. I think there's quite a lot going on this cover. There really is. There really is quite a lot going on here. And on to Swordmaster, number 2, written by Shu Zhu. I'm going to, disclaimer again, butchering names, okay? I'm sorry. Written by Shu Zhu. The artist by Gunji, adaptation by Greg Pak. The side story, written by Greg Pak, art by Ario Anandito, and coloring by Rachel Rosenberg. So, Swordmaster is given, Swordmaster is given his given a mysterious package from his father, which is this orb contained within this weird box, and the delivery man turns out to be a demon who attacks Lynn, tries to retrieve the orb from him, but the material from that the orb was placed in seems to hurt the demon, and while he's being attacked, his sword starts to act all on his own, attacking the demon, but not following the commands of Lynn. And while this is going on, another person is hunting down demons and discovers the scene that's happening. This woman named Ji Shang. I'm sorry, name butchering as always. And she goes to help, believing that she has found the Swordmaster. And I'll leave it there. And for the side story, Shang-Chi is worried about Swordmaster's powers, particularly with his sword, and how dangerous it is, because it's as he says, it stinks of magic. But while this is going on, they hear a commotion outside, and they are all attacked, and they are attacked by Ares, the god of war's forces. So I'll leave it there. So the main story with Swordmaster, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It was really good. Getting introduced to this new character as well, who seems to have ties to what's going on. Plot's progressing pretty well. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Really like the art, really like the coloring in this. The cover, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 as well. Compared to the last one, which was a amazing looking cover but had nothing to do with the interiors, this one really did have something to do with the interiors. And the art and the coloring is really, really good on it. The side story by Greg Pak, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It was kind of average. The art and coloring, I'm also going to give a 3 out of 5. It was average. So on to Symbiote Spider-Man number 5, the finale, I believe. Yes, final issue, written by Peter David, art by Greg Land, the coloring by Frank Diamata, the cover by Land and Diamata. So Symbiote Mysterio and Symbiote Spider-Man, Spider-Man's not controlled, the suit is in control this time, are fighting each other, and Black Cat joins the fray to help Spidey, realizing a bit too late that he's not in control, but with the help of Black Cat's bad luck, they are able to separate Mysterio from the symbiote, which returns to the main collective, and the suit lashes out, tries to kill Mysterio, but is stopped by Black Cat, and Mysterio is able to shock it, forcing Peter to regain consciousness. And we'll leave it there. So story, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Above average, close to good. It was an alright end. I know it's going to be continued in a Absolute Carnage tie-in, because there is one for it. Mysterio became a symbiote host. Carnage is after any of them, any and all of them. So of course there's going to be a tie-in for that. So, but this was an okay. This was an okay end to this story. The art and the coloring, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Pretty good. There's a few times where it was a bit iffy, but overall it was really good. The cover, I'm going to give a 4 out of 5. Really good art, really good covering. Captures what goes on in the interiors. You know, Spider-Man against Mysterio. So that is all for these reviews. Thank you all for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Sorry, my voice. But don't worry, my voice will be better next time. But that is all. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.